if you've ever worked in a place and you can bring a special skill set to that place, it often has a tangible financial benefit to you. So having Māori speakers in a government building where Māori speaking is essential because we have an agreement called the treaty that requires the input from Māori and Māori speakers to be in our legislation, our communications, all those sorts of things, then that's a valued bonus or a value added bonus that someone in that actual organization needs to have. And if you were applying for a job in broadcasting or a job at a charity and you were a fluent Māori speaker, it would probably add a premium to your application. So speaking Māori fluently would be a premium in many businesses or organizations in New Zealand. And what this government's now saying is it's got no premium in here. Speaking Māori fluently has no premium to this government. I'll tell you what, people often, I used to fight this on Talkback, but people would often talk about how Māori is not a commercial language. And I'm like, well, it is if you live in New Zealand. It is if you work in broadcasting. It is if you work in tourism, so it is within the boundaries of this country. So therefore, fluent Māori speakers, I could easily see how that would add a premium. If you're working in a bank and you had a large portion of Chinese nationals who were visiting your bank and you spoke Mandarin, I'm sure you could ask for a premium on your salary for a Mandarin speaker because it would be advantageous for that bank to have it. So what they're basically saying is we don't hold any value in this at all. And we're going to hit our targets over holding value in this extra skill that works out to be about $1,500 a year. Right. I think I've ruined the whole story, but let's get to it now.
The Māori King has issued a royal proclamation calling for a national hui in the wake of reforms announced by the new coalition government.
It'll be held next year with the aim of unifying concerned voices, and it'll continue into Ratana and Waitangi commemorations.
We talked last night, Chewie, after the protest or the Day of Unity, whatever they called it, of what's going to happen on Waitangi Day. Well, it sounds like the month leading up to Waitangi Day is going to be pretty bloody massive. You ain't seen nothing yet if you saw what happened last night. So it sounds like it's going to be freaking huge.
As Lloyd Burr reports, it comes as yet another Maori policy heads for the scrap heap. Te reo bonuses in the public sector.
A pūkana on Parliament's forecourt, plenty of tikanga Māori. Governor-General Dame Cindy Kiro wearing a korowai. But inside the institution she was opening, changes for Māori are afoot.
So this is, Chewie, I reckon this, and I think you used the word last night, tokenism. This is what I think is tokenism. They let Māori do the singing and the dancing and the, and the traditional stuff, but then inside the building where they make policy, they go, nah, fuck that shit. That's kind of the definition of tokenism to me. Lots of organizations and stuff, like you guys know this, that I've been involved with religious organizations for quite a long time. They'll do a kia ora up the front, or they'll sing a song and they'll translate it into Māori and stuff. And I would always say to them, I think a better way that you could help Māori is, for example, your vote and how that impacts Māori 365 days a year, rather than opening of Parliament where you put a tokenistic amount of Māori in the ceremony because it's tradition. So this is when you say tokenism, even though I'm not obviously degrading the presentation of Māori here, but this government and what they're trying to do at the moment with the Māori community and amongst Māoridom, then to have this feels like tokenism and actually feels a bit patronizing to me.
I mean, this is, yeah, exactly. Like, I think of so many countries around the world where a language was almost lost. Like, I think of Finland, I think of Wales, I think of the Scots reclaiming their language and that sort of thing. And again, this plays into what I've said about Lux and the way that he always wants both sides, right? He doesn't want Maori to stop being Maori. Apparently, he doesn't want to encourage or do anything about it, though. But he also doesn't want it to decline. It's an absolute lack of respect.
Yeah.
And they can't see it. They can't see the optics of this. They can't see that it's going to be packaged with everything else that is anti-Maori in their first couple of actions.
Yeah.
It's just such a piddling small amount of money, and it is an absolute, in my opinion, a minimal thing that they can do to encourage te reo in the highest parts of our government. And what what is the core part of this country.
Yeah.
Like, can they not see that that's an important thing?
I agree. But let's see if these guys agree with you as well.
Are afoot.
What's important is we take stock of all the bonuses that are being paid across the public service.
In particular, bonuses for
all the bonuses, but we'll just start with Māori speakers.
public servants who speak fluent Te Reo Māori.
Yeah, just them.
I have sought advice from the Public Service Commission about the circumstances in which these bonuses have been paid historically, the reason for them.
This is a policy that explicitly does not contribute to the quality of public services that people receive.
Now, that's the key. Seymour holds no value in it. That's the key, you see, and this is it now showing itself that Seymour thinks this has no value. He thinks speaking Māori within government agencies has no value, and if you think about Seymour like that, a lot of the other stuff, the horseshit that comes out of his mouth, makes sense. So he puts no value in Te Reo, and so therefore he's like, this serves no purpose because he puts no value in it, Chewy.
No, that's absolutely what it is. I don't see it any other way. And it's just, again, they'll throw that big number, $800 million, and you break it down and you're like, oh, it's $40 extra a week.
Yeah,
for those people.
We'll get the numbers.
So minimal.
Here we go. Let's look at them.
Seymour's compiled figures showing 547 public servants across 12 government departments were paid a total of nearly $800,000 this year alone.
So let's do that. 796, 471.
Sorry.
Yeah. 796, 471 divided by 547. It is $1,456 to have Māori speakers. And when you see what Brent, and I see you've started that, says in the chat, if you speak any te reo at any job, you're constantly being asked to do extra, i.e. free stuff like karakia, porphyry, etc. So what this government is saying is they don't value, right? Write this down, tweet this out. They don't value the Māori language within government departments to the value of $1,496, or it's $1,500 per speaker. They don't hold that much value in it. That's what we're going to be dealing with for the next 3 years.
Loan for being fluent in Te Reo Māori.
When did these bonuses enter these agreements? What's the purpose of them? Are they delivering their purpose?
It's infuriating the opposition.
Those who speak fluent Te Reo Māori in public service roles should have their pay docked is simply disgraceful.
Sadly, I think it just confirms the backward focus of this government.
Not to uphold this thing, but everyone was talking about Māori Party drip last night. Just recognise. Just recognise. That's what I'm doing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
You got to recognise.
Focus of this government.
It makes me sick. I'm sorry if it's had that effect on Willie personally.
As for public servants being paid to learn Te Reo Māori,
People who want to learn Te Reo or want to learn any other education actually pay for it themselves.
So if you really want to save the language, it's got to come from deep in your heart, and you've got to teach your children, and it's a struggle. You shouldn't just be incentivized at work.
So that means my children are going to miss out. Like if my children wanted to learn Māori, learn Te Reo, they're going to miss out because I can't teach them. Such horse shit from Shane Jones. You know, because even if it has to come from within, someone wants to learn it themselves, then there has to be places to go to learn it. And there has to be a community to value it. Because look, if we're thinking about a commercial entity, the reason there's so many cows in New Zealand is because we value the product they can make. There is a commercial value to it. If there's no value put to a product, even Māori, then it will die away. Yes, there'll always be passionate people who will learn it for the sake of learning it. But if it has a place to go, it has a place to enhance people's lives, and it has a commercial value to it, it will get more people involved with it. And this government is basically demonetizing the Māori language. And I don't want you to take me the wrong way. I'm not trying to say, Māori culture should only be monetized, but I'm just being a realist with you. If you can see a way to commercialize it, if you can see a way for it to take you somewhere, then it's more likely more people are going to learn it. I'm just being a realist with you, Joey.
It literally puts a value on it.
Yeah.
And these guys are literally taking that value away.
Yep.
And they are going to like this is incentivized in the private sector as well. Like they'll pay people to go out and do these. There's always cultural events for a lot of businesses and that sort of thing. It baffles me why such Like, they're going through line items to try and save money, right? Apparently, like, and they're pissing about $800,000 when they've tripped over themselves to deliver billions of dollars of tax relief for landlords.
Yep.
What's more important? Well,
Yeah.
they're showing us what they think is more important, and it's vile. It is just like they can go, oh, we're not racist, we're just looking out for all New Zealanders. No, you are turning the government again to European supremacy. We have no value in this language. It's not English. We have no value in this practice. It's not European based.
But when we want to invite a dignitary over, or we want to hold a like let's bring them out. Let's bring them out.
How many have we got left?
Yeah.
How many have we got left?
Right, let's get the end of Lloyd, shall we?
It's seen as yet another attack on Māori, and now the Kingitanga movement is mobilising.
Some of these plans are not considering our voice and our view, and you can see that happening in growing concern among Māoridom across the country.
Kingi Tuheitia has organised a national hui next month, calling for unity.
We're hoping it will be big. We're hoping for a lot of people. The hui is open to absolutely anybody, not just Māori.
No, I won't be attending it. I'll get on with democracy.
That seems very constructive, very supportive.
Support is what Luxon needs. So in the Te version of the anthem, no bonus for this effort today. Lloyd Bird, News Hub.
Fucking painful.
Yeah. So there you go. So I think we've just hit upon it. And I guess when it comes to voting, I never said this pre the election, but it seems pretty obvious. You're going to vote for a party who holds no value in Māori culture, or a party or a side of politics who wants to see more of it and give it and treat it like the treasure that it is. And that seems to be what we've got. Now, the mumble mouth lip service that Luxon's always done to today. Oh, I'm learning it. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's a special place. See, when you have a chance to put your money literally where your mouth is, and you decide to remove that incentive or remove that opportunity or anything like that, then you're actually literally just playing lip service to it. Because there'll be people who are Māori speakers who will have been wooed into those positions with the idea of a bonus that pays a bit better rather than going somewhere else. And what you'll find now is that there'll be fewer fluent Māori speakers in government departments. And look, again, people are going to try and argue back saying, oh, you know what, if it's a part of their heart, they should. I'm just being a realist. If you're going to earn an extra $2,000 working at the organisation down the road that you can working in Parliament, then you're likely to take the $2,000 down the road. It's just the real world. Chewy.
I'm increasingly becoming more and more furious. Look, and it comes from a place of like just realizing what fucking country we live in. You know, this is a language that is not found anywhere else. It is something that is a big part of our international appeal. It is what tourists come to see, is Māori culture. It is what Luxon was happy to cling to when he was CEO of Air New Zealand, to the point of trying to copyright Māori words for his little in-flight magazine. It baffles me that they cannot see the value in the culture that we have here, and they cannot see the blending of European backgrounds, more recent arrivals in this country, and Māori culture. Like I remember seeing at the mall here last Christmas, one of the schools had a kapahaka group.
Mm-hmm.
It was from one of the local schools here in Dunedin. And I looked at that group and I saw kids of Asian descent. I saw Indian and Pakistani kids. I saw Muslims kids. I saw white kids. I saw Māori kids. They were all singing Māori songs. They were all doing kapahaka. And I went, that is where we need to be going. And these old fucks in Parliament have decided, no, it doesn't have any value. We don't need to change that. We're just gonna, like, it's from the same mindset of like a city planner that's just like, we need roads and we need car parks and that's it. We don't need parks. We don't need statues. We don't need public art. We don't need anything like that. It is just bare fucking bones, because nothing outside of that core mission has any value.
Yeah.
It infuriates me. It's so out of step with how I view this country and the people in it.
I guess now, again, reflecting back, if you're looking at a government that's going to leave somewhere between 4 and 5 hours a week for primary school children to do everything creative, woodwork, art, music, drama, PE, because the rest of the time is going to be filled up with an hour a day of reading, writing, and arithmetic, then I guess, in other words, they're not valuing those things in the education system. It just kind of makes sense that they're not going to value Māori